Now we turn to the race for Buffalo mayor. We've been talking one-on-one with the candidates. First, independent Michael Gaynor last week, then yesterday, Republican James Gardner, and today, Democrat Sean Ryan is here with us. He is a state senator who started his career as an attorney through the early 2000s, representing students with disabilities, victims of housing discrimination, and labor law practices. He had a stint as chief of staff for the Erie County Legislature before then getting elected as a member of the New York State Assembly in 2011, then moving on to become a New York State Senator in 2021, representing the 61st District. And Senator Ryan joins us live here tonight. Great to have you in. Thanks.
Thanks for having me here today.
I want to start with the question that everybody is asking every time I talk to them out in the community. The big issue facing the next mayor will be dealing with the financial situation in the city. Whoever wins is going to inherit, I think what most would agree is a bit of a mess. How are you going to address it on day one?
Yeah, it's a mess. So the first thing we have to do is actually get a handle on how big the mess is. And we're going to do that by bringing in the New York State Comptroller to help us. We're going to open our books up so everyone can see them, but we got to get an accurate snapshot of how far behind we are. We know that we're not going to probably be able to finish this fiscal year without taking out short-term debt to cover just getting out of this year. But what's waiting for us at the start of the next budget year is even a bigger hole. So we're going to get out of it by being a more efficient government, bringing in more revenues, collecting our fees and fines that are not collected, make sure our water bills are being paid. But we can't do this alone. We need the help of Erie County, and we need the help of New York State. So we're going to come into relationships with county executive polling cars, see what kind of duplicative services there are, how can they help keep our costs down. But we have to go to the state. You know, I came out of the Assembly and the Senate, good relationship with the governor. We have to go to New York State and show them, here's the mess we are in. We can't get out in a year because to raise taxes that high would cause a tax shock to the people in the city of Buffalo, especially seniors, people on fixed incomes. Because not long ago, you could buy a house really cheap in Buffalo. Suddenly those houses are worth a lot more, but that means the taxes also go up on them. So we have to come up with a soft landing plan with New York State, with our partners in the county, to make it so we can get our house in order over a 3-year period. And at the same time, the help they're giving us would dissipate over those same 3-year period.
Let me just follow up quickly. A lot of people watching are worried, you know, if you don't raise taxes, they think that means you have to cut services. I mean, how do you do it while maintaining paving streets, clearing snow when it happens, and that sort of thing?
You got to do it all. You got to seek the efficiencies where you can seek them. Doesn't mean job cuts. It just means being more efficient with your services. You got to have to look at revenue. You got to bring that in. So you got to have to make this grand balance. But remember, to do all this, that just keeps it at the same level we're at now. That's just
have a longer
to keep
term.
a low level of service. So we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I want to ask you about one of the comments that was made during the recent debate that the three of you had regarding public safety. Listen to this.
Has made it almost impossible for members of law enforcement in Buffalo and New York State to hold criminals accountable. And that is the reason why we are seeing the uptick in not only the nuisance crimes, not only the burglaries and the vandalism, but it's why we're seeing not only Kiara Benefield, who lost her life, but also the young woman on North Ogden Street.
To be clear, and we've done this a few times, violent crime is down dramatically in the city of Buffalo. Index crime, overall crime down significantly. We are still dealing with an uptick in larcenies. We had a big spike in car thefts. That's gone down, but it's still an issue.
Property crimes are down.
Property crimes.
But, the car thefts are going down along with the national average. The Kia theft thing is
thankfully
we've
gotten a handle on it. But big picture, bail reform always comes up. How do you think the state can deal with bail reform and fix a system in which there are instances in which we cover these stories of folks who are just caught time and time again?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation about bail reform. This is the third election where the Republicans have tried to make bail reform the biggest issue. But here's what we know. Before we did bail reform, young people, young men, almost exclusively young black men, were held in jail, pretrial detention. And by the time they finally got to court, the judge would say, "Why are you even in jail?" And they would dismiss the charges. I was the lawyer on a lot of these cases, so we've changed bail reform. We've modified it. Before that, no one's touched anything in New York State on bail for 60 years. We might not have got bail reform perfect, but we got it right.
And then finally, sticking with public safety, what do you anticipate doing day one with the Buffalo Police Department? Overtime is an issue in terms of the financial situation for the city, but folks like seeing the officers out there making sure crime stays low. Yeah,
I mean, look, we have to look at the police contract to make sure that overtime's not being abused. So right now we're already $10 million over our overtime budget.
Right.
And we're barely into our fiscal year. So what we want is the most efficient, effective police department possible, but not one that burns money unnecessarily on overtime.
Want to remind everybody, early voting is underway. The election is coming up on Tuesday, and you can see our conversations with all three of the candidates at WKBW.com. State Senator Sean Ryan, the Democrat in the race for Buffalo mayor. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be here tonight.
We'll see you on Tuesday.